was really everyone in the building was welcome. Is that working?
Yeah, the light just went off.
But
So
the
you don't have
screen
to
went
stare
off.
at yourself. No,
Okay.
it was,
Cut.
I'm
a camera guy. I feel like we should be singing like carpool karaoke, and like all of a sudden you touch the radio and like Miley Cyrus comes on and we sing Party in the USA. That's like James Corbin. Corbin.
Sure.
The comedian, whatever.
One of those people.
That's...
You've been, lots happened since we've last hung out. You've been pretty busy. You've got your Youth Inc. hat on. TEU is killing it.
Did you guys see anything about TEU?
There was a few things on the internet,
and
we're filming this on a pretty big day. Like, I think TEU sort of just clinched the Taylor Travis.
Yeah, I mean,
that was what did it,
so
right?
The rumor was that they were on the fence about whether or not they wanted to like make their relationship official, and after they had such a blast with all of us in Nashville at TEU, they said, you know what? This is the right move. We're going to get married. So
that's right.
We think TEU might be the host, the main presenting sponsor of the wedding. We're working on the details.
I love the idea that a wedding has a presenting sponsor, and I love that TEU's got a good...
We're in the running.
Yeah.
Like us, Vogue.
You and I have actually been to a wedding that I think had a presenting sponsor.
That was a great time. Shout out Christian McCaffrey.
And
Olivia, you were part of it too.
They were there. She was kind of the show. Christian was there.
Yeah, Christian was there.
He looked great.
They both looked great.
No,
they were
both
a very
fantastic.
beautiful couple. And how many Aperol spritzes do you think were consumed by just our group?
Our group of, there was probably 8 to 10 guys.
Yeah.
We had to be well into the 300 or 400s.
Oh,
it was a lot.
I had 150.
You know, I have never before that day had an Aperol spritz. And I haven't had one since, but we probably we had about a 50-person average.
Oh, we probably cleared 150 on the beach that day before the wedding started. Shout out to Greg Van Roten, starting guard, backup center of the New York Giants, got us onto Aperol spritzes, and now I actually have a picture of drinking an Aperol spritz with Taylor, but it's not a big deal. So shout out to GVR.
So we've covered a lot of ground already.
A lot of shout-outs.
Well, we know a lot of people. That's good.
Humble brag.
You know a lot of people.
Humble brag.
I wanted to start with this because Bojangles is now our presenting sponsor of Car Talk. It's Cart Talk, but
just drop the T.
Yeah, we're working through some of it. We like these longer conversations. It's a beautiful day right now in Charlotte, but when I did the one with Luke, it was 98 degrees.
Yeah, we don't need to do that.
We didn't need to kill him. But so we got a little sweet tea if you get thirsty. I'm not sure if you're a sweet tea guy.
I'm an unsweet tea guy, but equal opportunity.
Equal. But I did want to start with Friday Fellowship around Bojangles in 2015. It started before that, but you were the mayor of that. Talk me through the thought process of bringing everyone together.
You know, I think like anything, I think the best traditions aren't forced. I think the best things kind of happen organically, and then all of a sudden success comes on the heels of things, and the creatures of habit that we are, anyone who is in the world of professional sports or the NFL particularly, I think there's so much routine, there's so much habit, there's so much, we're just all, we get, superstitious, like, so I guess the way that year started, Friday was always a fast Friday practice. So we were in, we were out, and then it was like immediately get in and get into the cafeteria because they're going to serve us Bojangles. And I look back on that and like the pure joy that it gave us eating like chicken fingers and some fries and maybe like half of a biscuit because we were trying to keep it tight. The joy that brought us, especially as the year got long and the weather starts to turn and you're tired, like that was the true epitome of like comfort food. So all of a sudden,
a lot of emotional eating.
Emotional eating in the NFL, and it's critical, right? We had Thursday Fellowship where we'd order food, but then Friday Bojangles, Bow Time Fellowship Friday. It probably grew from like a table, so like 6 to 8 chairs. And I would say the NFC Championship Friday, we had that snowy practice. Yeah. We practiced outside. They plowed the field off. Maybe the best football practice, energy-wise, spirit-wise, that I've ever been a part of. As guys were jumping into snowbanks, and it was a surreal moment for us living in Charlotte that we were practicing in the snow before the NFC Championship game.
That's right.
Came in, I would say we pushed probably 7 or 8 tables together. and the group was probably 30 plus.
Yeah.
And it was everyone from players to coaches to, Brandon Bean at the time was the assistant general manager, to the pro player department, to trainers. It was really everyone in the building was welcome. Is that working?
Yeah, the light just went off.
But
So you don't have to stare at yourself. No,
Okay.
I'm
a camera guy.
Okay.
So anyway, I
to that
think
too.
the way it all played out, that we could have those moments was special. And then probably the most amazing part of the whole thing, and even though it didn't necessarily bring us the luck we thought it was gonna, they packed, because bow time felt so important to us. It became such a big part of our routine. And obviously at the time going to the Super Bowl out in Santa Clara, we were 17-1.
Yeah.
They packed a Bojangles van full of chicken and biscuits and whatever else, and they had one of their guys drive it from Charlotte to Santa Clara. And when we came back to the hotel after our last Friday practice before the Super Bowl, we sat down and had Fellowship Friday, Bojangles. Obviously the game didn't go according to plan, but I'll never think of a season and like a tradition where Fellowship Friday, like it was incredible, and it was just, that's what it's all about.
And the winning, we had like 3 or 4 different people that would bring food in, but we would only switch if we lost.
Right. So the years before, so that's probably a really important part of the story is there was like a 3 or 4 local restaurant rotation.
Yep.
And if you had Bojangles and you lost, the next week it was, I don't know,
pizza or nachos or something.
Or, barbecue or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, only Bojangles is a sponsor, so that's the only one we really need to talk about.
We didn't say what barbecue place, just a barbecue place. So that year, we opened up against Jacksonville, at Jacksonville.
At Jacksonville, same as this year.
Yep,
So,
Swole
good
Bones
vibes.
put his shoulder pads on backwards. That's what I remember.
Brandon Williams.
Yeah.
86.
His jersey was on his shoulder
He
pads.
put his shoulder pads on
So good.
backwards. So
I remember that. He was a great kid and a really strong, good-looking dude. But anyway, that's what I remember from that game. And anyway, so we won. We had Bojangles in week 2 and week 3 and week 4, and then we went 14-0. We lost against Atlanta after Christmas.
Yep.
And we were like, we're not going to let one loss ruin it. We're going to
No,
keep
we
bringing
kept
back
going.
Bojangles.
At that point, we were pot committed.
So we went
for sure.
Bojangles week 17. We beat Tampa.
Yeah.
Then had to bye. Then went Bojangles for the divisional round, Bojangles for the NFC Championship, Bojangles for the Super Bowl. So we had, I don't think I ate Bojangles, no offense. I know they're a great sponsor, but after 5 months of eating them regularly, I probably took a couple weeks off and then got back into it.
Yeah, you didn't have all your guys to hang out.
It's the fellowship.
So, you're big on fellowship. We've just finished up training camp, getting ready to go to the regular season. You were always a big fan of going away to training camp. We were talking about this before. Football looks the same to you, but as a broadcaster, like you come back, you're like, oh, a lot's changed. One of the things that's changed, we don't go to Wofford. But talk to me about, in the spirit of fellowship, what you enjoyed so much about going away to camp.
Yeah, I think there's a couple things.
And have some sweet tea.
Please. Product placement. I think, first and foremost, I did think there was something special about being in the dorms, being with the guys, being kind of on our own for those couple weeks. Now, our training camp in its original sense, when we first got in the league, felt like it lasted 3 months.
Yep.
Training camp had really gotten whittled down following the new CBA in 2010. And so my time here in Carolina, training camp was not as long as it used to be prior to that. And so I do think there was something special about everything being right there in one spot. You'd get out of practice, we'd all rent our little golf carts, you'd golf cart to the cafeteria, eat, go back to your dorm room, take a nap. Like, it was all enclosed. It was all the distractions were gone. And for a couple weeks, we really could dive into our football, to connecting with our guys. You had somewhere to go between practice. You had somewhere to go eat. You had somewhere to go lay down. The part of training camp I always dreaded was that awkward gap when you broke training camp, but the training camp schedule never changed. And we would come back to the stadium and we would do the exact same schedule for the rest of preseason before the regular season week kicked in. But like in between the practice, we would lay down on the locker room floor. We would go lay on the training room, and you were like making up injuries so like the trainers would like rub your back on the bed. Like there was nowhere to go.
That's right.
And I always just valued going to camp, and I liked it. And I was very. My wife knows this. Like it was just different. Like for a couple weeks, it was about football. My wife would always say like she'd have to like retrain me when I came home, and
Sure.
she'd like be like, "We're not in training camp anymore. Like no one's
Laura and I talked about the same thing. Re-entry was always really
re-entry
bad.
into society."
You had 3 weeks where everyone washed your clothes, got any supplies you need. If you forgot something, one of the clubhouse guys would run out and get it, whatever you needed.
And
then
the kids woke up in the middle of the night. You heard about it in the morning.
Because you had small kids, I had small kids at the time. When you came home, though, it was like, no, that's over.
I was like, "But I'm still in training camp." She's like, "Ha ha."
Ron said that we were still
Bottles
in
are in
training
the
camp.
sink.
That's right. Ron said we were in training camp mode, so that clearly means everything.
Yeah. So I if I was playing now, again, you adjust to it. You get used to it. My year in Seattle, we didn't go way to training camp. Now it was COVID, so like that was a whole different animal. But like, I think that would be a big adjustment for me if I was still playing now. I liked it. I thought it was something about it. I always felt like it was a really good way for me to put like the finishing touches on my off-season prep. That when that regular season came around, like I was ready to rock.
I was just looking at your stats. I vaguely remember that as being probably your best overall year. You had a bunch of good years. One of the criticisms I have, brief aside, when I did this with Luke is the fans thought that Luke looked at this road a lot more than I did. So thanks for helping.
You are looking at me a lot. I see you out of my periphery.
Well, because I'm trying to maintain eye contact. I want to hear your stories.
I'll tell you my stories all day.
So you had a number of big games. You had 2 of your 3 biggest games versus New Orleans. I remember...
Of my career? Of the season?
No, of that season. I'm sorry, of that season. I'm sure you had a lot of big games versus New Orleans, but your first 2 touchdowns of the year came in that week 3 game versus New Orleans.
I remember those.
And I remember in the couple games leading up to that, you were growing very frustrated because you kept getting tackled at the 1.
You probably know this better than I do. I think that 2015 year, I probably got tackled inside the 2-yard line 5 times, 6 times.
So you had 7 touchdowns.
I probably could have had 13.
If they had just moved the goal line out.
If it was a 99-yard field,
you'd been good.
I would have been so good.
You were Pro Bowl and second team All Pro. You probably would have been. You might have been league MVP. I mean, the other guy on our team.
We're trending. The other guy on my team took a lot of the votes. We would have split the votes.
You would have split the vote.
Jerk.
So
yeah, if it was 99 yards, I would have had a even better season.
You would have been fantastic.
I would love someone to go back, and in today's world, it's probably easy to figure out. I bet you I got tackled inside the 2 at least 5, if not 6 times.
I remember it happened a couple times in Jacksonville, and at least once versus the Texans. Those were our first 2 games.
It happened against the Titans in Nashville when Cam fought the entire city.
That's right. But I remember everyone likes to talk about the Seattle game.
Yep.
Do you remember what you kind of said when you caught the touchdown? It looked like you kind of said something to the crowd. Do you remember what you said, or is it just sort of a look? You kind of flipped the ball.
Is this a family show? It's a family show.
If it's
a family show. I don't know verbatim, but here's what I'll say about the Seattle crowd. As far as a place in the NFL to play as a visitor, there is probably no greater challenge as a visiting team to go on the road than to go play in Seattle. And then you factor in that the years that we went there, they were historically great. Mm-hmm. Those years that we kind of overlapped where we had a hard time getting past them, 11, 12, 13. We didn't get past, we lost in the playoff game, what was that, 14?
14, yeah.
So finally in 15 to get over the hump, we had never beaten them, and it felt like they were a division opponent because we had played them we played them every year. Yeah. And did we play them twice that year? We played them in the playoffs?
Yes.
So we played them twice that one year. So I think going there, the crowd is on you. They're loud. It's deafening. There's very little verbal communication during the game. It's a lot of screaming in the huddle, face mask to communicate. It's a really unique place, but incredible. And their fans are really into it and they love it. they have their handful of fans. You know, the guy like that Geno Smith was caught giving the bird to in that preseason game. Like,
I don't know who that guy is, but the whole league knows who he is.
The whole league knows who that guy is. He has those season tickets at the tunnel, and he's got signs, and he gets after your ass. Not that he was in the end zone where I caught the touchdown, but I just think there was a lot of pent up, like, we can't get past these guys.
Yeah.
They've had our number for a couple years, and Ron made it very clear, like, in order for us to ever take that next step, Seattle was the benchmark in the NFC. And we didn't shy away from that. They deserved all the credit that they got. And then we finally got them. So I think it was like years of frustration, years of close losses, years of games that we felt won, and we just kind of didn't. And yeah, I'm sure there were some choice words. I'm sure there was some, great games. You guys are a really good crowd.
Good job, you guys.
Good job. You guys are really, really passionate. I'm sure there was some of that, but it wasn't personal, but there was an element of, like, they were the top dog in the conference for so long. They were kind of the team that we just couldn't get over the hump. And I think for our rebuild from 11 to 15, that final step of the process to be considered on the national stage across the league as, like, okay, these not just like the fun upstart small town kids anymore. Like, these guys are legit. Was beating one of the best teams of the last 5 or 6 years at home in pretty fun situation there at the end.
Was that the play call, or was that you and Cam?
No, it was the play call. So what happened there was, and it started off being my fault, and then I ended up, obviously, it ended up working out.
Saving the day.
Well, I don't know if I saved the day, but I started the problem. So I don't remember the exact details, but on the play or two prior, for some reason, I was saying something to the official about the Seattle sideline. Something with Pete. I don't remember exactly what happened, but I was pretty adamant that there was a penalty or there was an illegal substance. I don't exactly remember what happened, so I was out of the huddle. Cam's trying to get the huddle called, and we break the huddle really, really late. So we sprint to the ball. We're in hurry up. We go express, which means, like, get up, get set, go. So Cam's getting everybody set. If you look off to the left side of the formation, we barely got set, and you could see that they didn't even really know what the play was. Because on the snap of the ball, I think it might have been like Philly and Koch, they really didn't even run a route. They kind of both just, like, walked off the line, like, unsure of what the play was. And I remember looking in, screaming at Khalil, and Cam's trying to clap, but nobody can hear anything, which is like, if I'm clapping, snap the ball. And we were getting down on the play clock, and I'm screaming on the top of my lungs to Khalil, snap the ball. So Khalil doesn't even do his head nod.
Yep.
So none of the linemen know the ball is going to be snapped, and we just get the play off. We just avoid a delay game, and we just avoid an illegal motion, pre-snap, whatever they want to declare it, because we were barely set on the left side. And we ran the same play that we ran earlier in the game when I got tackled on the 1. We ran the same exact play, but they busted the coverage, and half the team was in 2 and half the team was in 3. So they let me the corner dropped me thinking there was a half-field safety, and it's just one of those plays you get lucky and you're just wide open. The time we ran it earlier was nod 9. It was a nod 9 route. It was like we had different combinations. So it was like nod 992, nod 972, 992 twist. Like there was different versions. For me, I was just running a backside kind of read. And the one before it where I got tackled on the 1 yard line was like, I don't know why Cam threw the ball. I don't know how I caught the ball. And then I got absolutely smoked on the 1 yard line. But that was a harder play than the touchdown. The touchdown was a busted coverage.
Did you know you were wide open?
Yeah.
Were those when you knew you were open?
Just don't drop the ball.
Is there an anxiety with the ball in the air? You can feel it.
Uncontested catches are the hardest catches in the NFL. The contested ones, you got bodies on you. You're jockeying for position. You don't even really. You're just reacting and trying to go up and locate and track the ball. The uncontested ones, you know very quickly in the NFL when there's no one around you because it doesn't happen very often. And those, it feels like the ball is taking a month. It's like every stereotypical like slow motion movie,
Yes.
That's exactly what it is. And you and then after you catch it, you're like, oh my God, could you imagine if I dropped it? You know?
Yeah.
Like that's how my brain works.
Yeah.
Like you're in the shower after the game and you're almost replaying like an alternate reality of like, it's like a Man in the High Castle. You know, like, you know, like you're
nice Amazon shout out.
Unintentional, but thank you.
No, we work it.
It's like you're replaying like an alternate scenario. Like what would this shower be like if I would have dropped the ball?
Right.
And then you like have to snap yourself and be like,
but I didn't.
What are you, a sociopath? Why are we role playing this? So
that's right.
That was a really exciting locker room, really exciting game, and obviously propelled us to having a hell of a season that obviously came up short.
I've said I thought we killed Seattle on that day. They were 2-4 after the game. We were 5-0, and of course, we saw them again in the playoffs because
couldn't escape them.
You couldn't get past them. What do you remember about Thanksgiving?
Well, I remember a few things about Thanksgiving. Obviously, we played the game in Dallas.
Yeah.
I remember on my way there, my dad forgot to shut the tailgate of his pickup truck on the way to the airport, and my mom's luggage fell out. So when they got to the airport, everyone's bags were in the back of his tailgate except my mom's luggage.
Okay.
So that started the trip off. Granted,
Sue
I
wasn't thrilled.
She wasn't thrilled. I wasn't obviously with her because I was on the team plane. But my parents, the kids were all little at the time, and obviously Kara came out to spend Thanksgiving out there. So I remember that. Passing by Holy Trinity, they're one of our football rivals.
Will you play on this field?
I think we play them at home, but I'm
Okay.
not positive. 1 week at a time, JJ.
Quick aside, who do you have this week?
Country Day, big game, big rivalry game. The old stomping grounds of the Olsens. Opener at home at
Opener at
Christian.
home.
Go Knights.
What's real 20 seconds before we continue on Thanksgiving? What's the pregame speech gonna look like?
We're gonna be fired up.
Okay.
Last year I had Tom Brady phone in a pregame speech and we lost. So
Oh no.
So no, Tom, I love you.
Tom's really good at the end of the season. Early season, they might win one. They
should
might
have had
lose
it.
one.
Yeah,
End of the season.
We never lost another game, so maybe Tom's speech.
There we go.
Remember,
Just
it's
took
not
a
how you
week to
start;
hit.
it's how you finish.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. So anyway, so back to Thanksgiving. Obviously, I remember Luke's pick six. I remember Kurt Coleman had a pick six on the first drive of the game. Luke had another one where he punched Romo in the head crossing the goal line.
That was great.
We rolled that game. I think Cam scored on like a quarterback draw. Like we just really played well that game. First time we had ever played on Thanksgiving. Did we wear all blues?
It was the first time we wore all
Color
blues
Rush?
too. Yeah,
Back when Color Rush was a thing, I used to love Color Rush.
I don't think we'd ever worn that before.
We looked so good in the all blues.
The thing I remember is we wore them to like practice that week.
Yeah.
And I thought we looked like Smurfs.
Oh, I thought we looked great.
And when we got to the field and then you saw it on TV, you're like, oh, that
I
might
thought
be the
Color
best.
Rush. I loved Color Rush. I know everybody had their jokes, but I thought it was great.
Do you remember the first Color Rush game? It was.
Was it red versus yellow? It was like
It was
ketchup
red
and
versus
mustard.
green. No, it was the Bills were in red, the Jets were in green, and they realized that people that were colorblind couldn't see what was going on.
Oh God!
So
now
they
you
had
say
to.
that.
So they had to like readjust like some of the combinations.
Something had to be white, and something had to be dark.
Yeah. So okay, a lot of memories from.
So I remember that, and then I'll tell you probably my biggest memory, and I've told this story before, is we're flying home. All of our families obviously aren't. You almost didn't play because you were in concussion protocol.
We
had a ruin. Who was the snapper we brought in?
Danny Aiken from New England.
Danny Aiken had to leave his family on Thanksgiving Day to come be our emergency long snapper.
The best part about
I think we wore your ass out about that.
Oh, we did. It was rough. Two good things happened. One was we had an injury, and so I think Starr was hurt, so no one got cut. That was my fear was someone's gonna get cut for this
because JJ's in concussion
the
protocol.
funny part though was Danny Aiken had been in New England for 4 years. Ron gives this great speech and basically let's kill him, and Danny leans over to me and goes, "Is it like this every week?" And I was like, "Yeah, kind of is." That's the best speech I've ever been a part. This guy was in 3 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
He thought that was the best.
Ron could give a speech.
Ron could give a speech, and also Danny was on the team, and I'm pretty sure Jared Allen would have walked out for the first snap. He was on the team as a snapper because he could snap. You weren't willing to step up unless it was a fourth quarter snap.
That was my rule.
But Jared was really good.
Jared would have played left guard that year. That dude was a great teammate.
Great teammate.
And just a great dude. And he came into the locker room with great energy late in his career, and he would have done anything. He was awesome.
Yeah. So
you thankfully cleared protocol.
I cleared protocol.
And played.
And Kurt Coleman scored a touchdown on the first third down, and I took a snap, and I got like hit in the shoulder and head, and I was like, okay, I'm okay. Like, I'm fine.
You
Like,
need that
the
first hit.
nervous energy going into a game where you're dealing with any sort of concern medically.
Yeah.
You need that first rep to like, okay, I'm in one piece.
Someone
I
needs
can
to try
survive.
to assassinate me, and then if I live, I'm great.
I'm good. Absolutely. So Thanksgiving, we're all on the flight back.
We're on the flight back, and Cam has this great idea that his family, who stayed back in Charlotte, made like a Thanksgiving feast.
His like aunt, right?
It was his aunt. Yeah, it was like extended family. I don't know if it was like mom, dad.
Yeah.
There was a whole bunch of Newtons
Sure.
at the apartment when we got there.
Yeah,
and
sure.
now we get home at, I don't know, we probably land at midnight.
Yeah, somewhere in that time.
So it's 2:00 in the morning, and we're in Cam's downtown apartment having like the greatest Thanksgiving meal I've maybe ever eaten. Like, there was something, the turkey was so good, and the stuffing and everything about it was just amazing. And we sat there watching our Sports Center highlights from our Thanksgiving
That's
game, like
unbelievable.
on repeat, having 2 a.m. Thanksgiving dinner. That was a fun memory. So there was a lot of great memories. Playing on holidays, playing when all eyes are on you. Those standalone NFL moments are special, and I think we appreciated them more because the reality was our first couple of years we didn't get a lot of them.
No.
And so I think when we got good, and all of a sudden now the A crews come in, and we're getting the big broadcast window, and we're getting, like, it was like, all right, guys, we've earned this. Like, we started literally at the bottom.
That's right.
And moved our way up. And I think it felt, it was very worthwhile.
I've gone back and watched a few of those games, and we did start getting Joe Buck and Troy Aikman.
Oh,
who
you
was
heard
the
their
Fox.
Yeah, you heard their voices a lot.
Were you in a lot of those production meetings?
A lot? No, a couple.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do production meetings every week. You get, obviously, the production team asks who they want, and Cam, rightfully so, always did them. The head coach always does them, and then I think player-wise, I'm sure Luke did them a lot.
Yeah.
I think offensively, they'll ask at least the quarterback, and then they'll pick. Some crews want an extra guy. Some crews are good with just the coach and the quarterback. So I would do a couple, but nothing regularly.
I was watching a bunch of games. It was like on NFL Network, and I don't even know how it got there, but I was watching a 1993 Cowboys game where John Madden is talking about Troy Aikman.
Yeah.
And the next game I'm watching Aikman as the broadcaster talking about you. And then the next game I happened to watch was like the Super Bowl in 22, and I don't know if there's anybody on that field that you're. I was like, this is kind of a wild 40-year.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Bandwidth.
I mean, John Madden called my first ever touchdown, which is kind of cool. He at the time was at NBC, and we were up in Green Bay my rookie year, Sunday night, Bears Packers, and the play before, Peanut Tillman surprisingly punched out a fumble. Urlacher recovered it, and or it might have been, I'm pretty sure that was the order of it. First play, we ran what we used to call like flank left. So Desmond Clark was the starting tight end, and I was the rookie. I was the second string. We lined up in like wing left, and we called it like boom. I don't remember what the pass protection was, but the concept was boom. He ran a single safety, like skinny, and I ran a wheel. And let's say it was Brian Greasy threw me up a jump ball. And the fun fact of that touchdown, other than John Madden obviously narrating it, was I landed out of bounds. But for anyone who's like a history buff of the NFL in the old days, and this was 2007, if you were deemed to have been pushed out of bounds while you were in the air, the referee could determine that it was still a completed pass, which was like a very strange rule at the time. It obviously no longer exists, but it was deemed that when I jumped and caught it, I was pushed out of bounds by the defender. I landed clearly in the white.
Yep.
And you could see the official give the shove, signaled the touchdown, and that was my first ever career touchdown.
Yeah, it seems strange now given
that you would even consider that being a touchdown.
But that was very normal.
Oh, it was very normal. We talked about it.
Yeah.
Like, it was something we were aware of, and you just think now to like everything the NFL is trying to go to, which is make everything as objective as possible. Like, get subjectivity out of the game, judgment calls. Don't put that onus on the officials, which I get. Yeah. To think that we were awarding touchdowns just based off I guessed you would have landed in bounds is so bizarre.
That's right.
But
that was normal.
That was normal.
You and I have a similar appreciation for the rules, game strategy, yelling at the officials. Where did that come from for you? Is that your dad coaching
Yeah,
for
my
40
dad's
years?
yelled at a lot of officials. I've yelled at my fair share of officials. I've had to have some really uncomfortable, like, post-game, halftime, and now, like, in this, like, I've had multiple officials now, like, in pregame, as I'm just, like, walking around the field in my suit, like, glad-handing people, come up to me and be like, and, like, they want to, like, get it off their chest. They're like, we yelled at each other. I'm like, sir, or ma'am, there's a couple female officials that I've had this conversation with, like, I am so sorry. I actually sat next to Sarah. What's her?
I'm forgetting her last
but
name.
Sarah
too.
is her first name.
She's a sideline judge, so you'll have her for half, right in front of your bench.
She's great, and she was like one of the pioneers. She was like one of the, trailblazers of female officials, and me and her actually sat at a conference panel together at the Super Bowl this year in New Orleans. And I remembered the story, and the second she started telling it, I wanted to, like, crawl in a hole. But so it's a preseason game, I don't know, like 18, 19, towards the end of my career here. And we're in a 2-minute drive, back when guys used to play in the preseason. And listening to her
You
tell
want to get that off your chest.
Yeah, I don't know why I was playing, but it was fine. So we're doing a 2-minute drive before the half, and listening to Sarah tell the story made me, like, both smile and also, like, cringe.
Right.
So I catch the ball going out of bounds. It's a low pass. I catch it, and I crawl out of bounds, and I stick the ball on the sideline to stop the clock.
Rep.
And she comes in, and so now she's telling the story, and I'm, like, giggling. And she was great about it. She's like, I'm new. I wind the clock. And Greg stands up, and as he's running the ball back to give the ball to the umpire to, like, down to put it to spike it, he is cursing at me and screaming at me, and I'm like, no, I wasn't cursing. She's like, you were.
I was
like,
see that.
I was like, that's fair. Long story short, we kick a field goal because we have to clock it, and we don't stop the clock, whatever. I come out at halftime, and I'm like, I am so sorry. She's like, you're good. I was wrong. So we had this big kumbaya moment in the moment of the game in the preseason, and we were good. So now fast forward, it's like 6-7 years later, and we're sitting at a panel together. I had forgotten about the story, and she, like, in a really, like, fun tone, she's like, you guys want to hear a great story about how hard it is being an official? And she starts telling the story with me sitting right next to her.
Oh, yeah.
I felt a little embarrassed and bad. I was correct.
Naturally,
The ball,
of course.
the clock should have stopped because
That's
I was not contacted going out of bounds. But I'm not fond of it. Sometimes in the moment you do get caught up in the energy and arguing on behalf of your case. But I always made sure either at halftime or a break in the action or at the end of the game, like when cooler heads prevail, to at least go, like, make peace and just say, hey guys, it's not personal. Like, get caught up in the game or arguing, you guys, we're good. So whether they accept it or not, I don't know, but it made me feel bad.
Did you ever feel like you got calls for the team because of how you worked with
100%.
officials?
I argued a home game. You're probably going to remember this better than I did. I argued and got a flag picked up on offensive pass interference that they called on me, that I argued in the huddle with the officials, and they picked the flag up.
Yeah.
I don't know if I ended up being right or wrong, but I was so adamant in the moment that I was right. They picked the flag up. It was a home game. I was on the right-hand side of the formation, and I was pressed. And we were running like an option route. It was like Koch or Philly or whoever was, like, our choice player. And anytime I was pressed with a choice player's guy off, I would run the interference route and, like, play it off.
Get in the way.
Get in the way, and the defense calls it a pick. We call it a rub. And they called me for offensive pass interference. And I was adamant that it wasn't pass interference because I was jammed at the line of scrimmage and the contact happened within 1 yard. I kept the contact a little too long downfield. Yeah. So I don't think I was technically right in that case, but I was so adamant about it that they picked the flag up.
I always think two things happen with officials. I think they officiate the reactions more than the actual play. It happens on punt all the time. Do you fall on your face or do you fall on your back? If you fall on your face, it's a block in the back. If you kind of turn and twist,
things happen so fast.
It's happening so fast. I think they also I think they officiate words. So like you saying he was within a yard and he pressed me, that means something to them. It triggers something in their mind. I certainly try to use those strategies when I'm playing. Do you
And here's the other point.
Yeah.
The other thing is, like, we all then have the ability to look at the Jumbotron. The fans see 100 replay angles. These broadcast booths are so good at presenting the whole story and piecing it all together. In fairness to the officials, who I always now try to stand up for the best that I can, it's like they got to see it in real time at 20 miles an hour one time. And now they're going to replay it in their brain, how they interpret and how they recall it.
Sure.
And all of us they're not able to look up at the monitor at the Jumbotron and say, oh, okay, it wasn't a holding call. It wasn't pass interference. They're not allowed to do that.
Yeah.
So, like, they can only go off of what they see and what they say to each other. And the rest of us are piecing this whole storyline together we're trying to influence what their picture in their brain is. And oftentimes it doesn't match.
One of your best broadcasting moments was the end of that 22 Super Bowl. I guess it was played in 23.
Yeah.
James Bradbury, the pass interference, and you and Pereira went at it pretty good. So you still enjoy chopping up the rules?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of stupid rules. Me and Pereira argue all the time. And now, listen, I'm an offensive guy. When I was playing, I argued for every call to go on the offense's favor. Now that I'm sitting in like a neutral position, I don't care if the offense does well or the defense does well. It frankly doesn't matter to me, because obviously it's a different vested interest. But I hate defensive pass interference on underthrown passes.
Yeah, I'd change that rule.
I would change that rule because, and Pereira's like, why? Like, they have the right to come back. And me and Pereira have a good relationship, so don't miss him.
He's a great guy.
He's awesome. And Dean and all of our Fox officiating analysts and stuff are great. My argument is I try to simplify it and say, okay, we've all seen the play. The corner, the defensive back, and the wide receiver are running down the field. The ball's thrown 10 yards underneath. The wide receiver puts his foot in the ground to come back to catch it, and the corner runs right into his chest. Everyone falls down, and it's a 40-yard penalty.
Yeah.
My argument is he underthrew it by 10 yards. What if he overthrew it by 10 yards?
No.
We would both keep running. The ball would land in the ground, and we'd run back. I said, so why are we rewarding a poor throw?
I agree.
It's not a back shoulder throw. It is a pure underthrown ball, 9 out of 10 times unintentionally. Mm-hmm. And if you got rid of the rule, I would argue they would never underthrow the ball. They're underthrowing the ball on purpose. Correct. To generate a 30-plus yard defensive pass interference. Yeah. I don't know what we can expect out of a corner who's running 22 miles an hour stride to stride with Justin Jefferson, and the ball is thrown 10 yards behind him, and he is supposed to know that, stop, and get out of the way before Justin Jefferson comes back and runs in. I just, to me, like, that's a stupid rule that favors the offense that if I was in charge, I would get rid of. You can't reward bad football. And in my mind, it's a bad throw, and it shouldn't be rewarded. Because if he overthrew it and it was the same bad throw but ahead, nothing would happen. We'd stay stride for stride. But because it was a bad throw short, you gained 30-plus yards. I think it's stupid. So, for example, those are the kind of things that still aggravate me.
And now you have the platform to let everyone know.
Yeah, and not everyone has to agree with me, right? And the unique thing about broadcasting is, and I've learned this the hard way, and probably in the beginning it bothered me more than it does now. The unique nature now of broadcasting is giving your opinion about that play, for example, is interpreted as you don't like the team on offense.
Right.
And my argument would be if on the very next possession it was the opposite, I would still make the same argument. But to a fan, and rightfully so, because if I was a fan, you do everything in your power to stand up for your team, so I don't blame anybody. Everything is perceived in the booth as if I say something good about a team, their opponent thinks I like that team. If you say something negative about a team, that team's fan base thinks you don't like them. So everything is viewed that what we say is biased towards the fan base. And no matter how much you say we don't care, you're not going to convince anybody otherwise, so you just can't worry about it.
Which fan base dislikes you the least, or dislikes you the most, I guess you'd say? Do you have one that just keeps coming after you?
Last year, Philly got really mad at me. I always thought we had a good relationship. I mean, I went to bat for them, not because I liked them or didn't like them. I went to bat for them, like you said, in the Super Bowl on James's PI or holding or whatever they called.
Yeah.
Which, again, in slow motion replay, did he grab his jersey? Yes. Do I think at the end of the Super Bowl, that's how the Super Bowl should have ended, on them leading the clock and kicking a pseudo walk-off field goal?
Yeah.
No, I thought they should have kicked the field goal on 4th down and give Jalen Hurts, who was the runner-up MVP behind Mahomes, a chance to possess the ball, down a score, and have incredible drama going down. I didn't think the penalty was egregious enough to steal that ending from football fans. That was my take in the moment. I still agree with it. But then last year, I had a game between Washington and Philly, and I went into the game. I'll never forget, my on-camera open. I said to, was it Joe? I can't remember. Sometimes Joe. Yeah, it was Joe. He was back. It was Joe. He was back from baseball. And I made it. Joe Davis. Yeah. He leaves for baseball. That's why sometimes those middle games I forget who my partner was. And I was very clear. I was like, Joe, there's no question in my mind. This is the best team in football. I'm talking about the Eagles. This is the best team in football, the best roster in football, and the best defense in football. Like, I thought that whatever that game was, 14, 15, whatever week it was, like, I was adamant. I turned out to be right. And
there's a theme to all these stories.
Listen,
you turn out to be right.
I've been wrong a lot. I just don't bring those stories up.
We don't bring those.
So, long story short, Jaden Daniels, who was incredible, had an unbelievable game. And Jalen Hurts got hurt. He got knocked out of the game early on a hit. It was not a dirty hit, but he got hit and he got knocked out of the game. They played with their backup, and Jaden Daniels threw like 4 or 5 touchdowns, and they scored 35 points on the best defense in football. And it was an unbelievable back and forth game, and the final score was like both teams scored in the 30s, and Washington won. So, like, obviously we gave a lot of credit to Jaden Daniels. We kept bringing up the fact about how amazing it was, not only that he did it as a rookie, but that he did it against the best team in football.
Yeah.
They didn't like it. I got a lot of flack from media people, from fans. I didn't love it. Like, I'm not saying, like, I didn't lose any sleep over it, but, like, I didn't love it because I do feel like I had always covered Philly teams and always gave them the credit that they deserve. Not because I like Philly more than I like other teams, but I do respect teams that I think are really good at what they do. I think Sirianni's really good. I think Harry Roseman's the best front office guy in the league. I like Jeffrey Lurie, the owner. I like Jalen Hurts. Like, I call it what I see it. I think it's an organization that there's a reason they're so successful. That one day, yes, they lost their starting quarterback. That's part of the story. We covered it at length. That day, the story was Jaden Daniels, the young rookie who took a team in Washington that no one thought they would accomplish. And against the best defense in the league, Vic Fangio, one of the best defensive minds in the history of the game, that one day, Jaden Daniels beat him.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that I don't think Philly's really good. So, like, there are some moments, you still get the, like, you call a Saints game and, like, they're losing by 100, and the last couple of years they haven't been great. But, like, I really like Dennis Allen. Yeah. I like Derek Carr. I like Alvin Kamara. I like Cam Jordan. Like, I like not personal, just because we played in the same. But, you make a comment about something they did in free agency, or you make a comment about quarterback situation, and the response is, well, you're just mad that, you were our division rival and we used to beat you and we knocked you out in the 2017 playoffs. So I'm like, I can promise you, when I'm up in the booth, the 2017 playoff game or whatever it's not even crossing my mind when I'm discussing your third down offense. I know you think I value you guys that I really, it hasn't even crossed my mind.
People are definitely holding things against you that you're not even aware of at this point.
I haven't thought about the 2017 playoff loss to New Orleans in 5 years. And it's for sure not entering my mind as I'm up there calling a broadcast.
We've done a lot of stuff, just what's going on in your world. The playoffs in 2015. The catch you had to end the first half for Seattle
would be the best catch of my career.
Best catch?
Hardest catch.
Hardest catch.
Maybe not most meaningful.
It felt like the game was over, and then, of course, they come roaring back. What was more stressful, that ball in the air or standing on the onside kick team.
I was the bunt guy. They kicked it to TD, and thankfully he caught it and landed on his head.
That's right.
I was the bunt guy. So for anyone who doesn't know, like the bunt guy on so as the rules, and JJ can correct me, I don't know all the timeline rules. The rules of kickoffs and where guys can align and running starts and what yard line has changed 500 times.
Yep.
I don't remember exactly what the rules were in 2015, but my time in Carolina, I was always the guy that stood 10 yards right in front of the kicker.
Yep.
And I had to defend the bunt.
Yep.
I don't know if at the time there was the spacing rules. Could you line up everybody inside the hash marks back then?
They'd begun to change that. You could only put 2 guys inside the hash, so
Which
it wasn't
made life a lot easier.
It wasn't like the cannonball where
in the olden days when I was the bunt guy, the entire team could line up next to the kicker and he would bunt it and they would come assassinate you.
Yes.
And then the kicker would recover it and you'd be at the bottom of the pile.
Which always led to you and I, one of our favorite jokes as teammates was inevitably a special teams coach when describing the bunt would say they can't hit you in front of 10 yards, and then they would proceed to show that bunt guy, which you were, getting drilled, and I always used to tell you, they can hit you, they just can't do it legally.
Correct.
They will
so
hit
I made
you.
sure in the special teams meeting when we did hands team that I provided that caveat because that was my skull on the line.
That's right.
But yeah, so my job was to defend the bunt, which was like playing like middle infield, but you only had 10 yards and the kid could kick it hard at you, soft at you. Anyone who's ever tried to catch a bouncing football, it is very unpredictable. I only recovered a couple in my career. I remember I covered one against New Orleans in the game that Luke had like 50 tackles in the rain.
Oh yeah, 13.
I recovered a bunt there. I recovered another one at some point, but that game, your trip to the NFC Championship's on the line, and you're standing there, and you're never more focused. Yeah. You're never more like locked in on a ball, and then he kicked it over to Thomas, and Thomas went up and caught it and landed on his head, and we all ran over and like covered him.
Sure. Right as we're passing Thomas's restaurant.
There it is.
There it is. 10:58.
Haven't been, but it looks nice.
I know. Next time we do Cart Talk, we'll just do it since I'm sort of slowly upgrading where we do Cart Talk.
The city that I've never even seen.
We've been kind of driving around. I asked Luke when he did this where he was living.
Luke knows every street.
He knows every.
You put a gun to my head right now and said, "Get me back to the stadium, I die."
Yeah, that's kind of part of the job of the host is get us back there. Last question: the podium after the NFC Championship game. Cool experience
on the field.
On the field.
Yeah, I mean,
we had our 6 captains. It was you, Charles, Thomas, Luke, Cam, and Khalil. Yeah, it was our 6 captains got up there.
I have a couple memories and a couple regrets from that whole experience. Obviously, the biggest regret being it should have been the second best podium we've ever stood on, right? Like, the only reason the NFC Championship podium is so memorable is if you lose the Super Bowl.
Sure.
Right? It's like
it was special because it was at home.
Oh, don't get me wrong. In the moment, it was surreal. We're at home. Our crowds were insane. You watch people that underestimate Charlotte as a football city. Oh. You go look back at some of those years, our crowd rivaled any in the NFL. The energy, the tailgating, the noise, the place was shaking. There's a really famous clip coming back in the NFC Championship game of Joe Buck actually coming back from commercial.
Yeah.
And Z, who's the producer, my old producer when I was with that crew, is big on like letting the crowd noise play out. So like I could just picture him in the break saying, guys, we're gonna come out of commercial, lay out, and just let the crowd. And they went around with the cameras to different sections. There was not a person sitting. There was not a person that wasn't jumping. And then after 15 seconds, Joe Buck jumps in and he goes, partner, this booth is literally shaking. And then he laid out again, and it was the noise, and it was like, it gives me goosebumps. So like experiencing that in the stadium was awesome. My biggest regrets obviously are not winning the Super Bowl. That is something obviously we'll live with forever. And then my other regret is, I think at the time you anticipate that you're going to get to do it again. Like we left our young kids at home that night. It was we had the late game, right?
Yeah, it was the 6 o'clock start that actually got pushed to like 7.
And they were like 3 and 4. The twins were 3. Tate was 4. They were babies. It was going to be late. It was crazy. So they stayed home. I look back on that and like I wish I had photos like on the field in my uniform with my family, with my wife and kids, and like I don't. So that's probably a miss and a regret from that night. But I remember we talked all week. We're like, well, now all this stuff's flooding back to me. We a bunch of us made the Pro Bowl that year, and the Pro Bowl was still at that time between the the Pro Bowl, just like it is now, was between the conference and the Super Bowl. So we had this weird, like, none of us, at least I didn't, I don't know what everyone else did. We didn't book flights. We didn't pack. And we were going to do like because we didn't want to jinx it. Like in our mind, we were going to the Super Bowl.
Correct.
So we didn't book it. We didn't secure bags. We did nothing. And if for whatever reason we didn't win, we were going to figure out how to get to, I don't know, was it in Hawaii? I don't even know.
I think they might have started.
It might have been in Hawaii. I don't even know where it was. So we were relieved, obviously, that we were going to the Super Bowl instead of the Pro Bowl. And
was that your first Pro Bowl?
No.
So you've been the year.
I made it the year before.
Okay, because it took you a couple years to kind of break through.
I didn't make my first Pro Bowl until 2014.
Okay, so that would have been your second. Okay.
Yeah, 14, 15, 16. So I remember, though, that week, like, you know, the guys are in the locker room and you're talking a big game. You're like, we win this game. We're going out. We're going to have a great party. We're going to go out to dinner. This is going to be awesome. Another reason why we left the kids home, like my wife and I were like, all right, we're going to go out after. So I don't even remember where we went. But we went to like a bar in downtown Charlotte, which for anyone who lives in Charlotte, like it's not really like a city scene, but after the game it was busy.
Yep.
So we had like a big group of guys. I don't even remember who was there. We sat down at the bar and people are going bananas and people are buying drinks and my wife and some of our friends and whoever. We were there for like 30 minutes. We all looked at each other and everyone's like, we have a really early meeting we have a really early meeting tomorrow at the stadium. Yeah. Let's just go to bed. And everyone's like, that sounds great. So like our big game that we talked lasted about 30 minutes and we were in bed.
We had the exact same experience. I think we went to like Angry Ales down the road. Yeah. And it was like I was with Ryan Anderson and his wife Heather, Laura and I, and after 30 minutes I was like I'm exhausted.
Physically exhausted, emotionally exhausted.
You were more physically exhausted than I was. I was very emotionally exhausted.
I was physically, mentally, emotionally. I was all of it. But yeah, I mean, it was special. Those are amazing memories. I got to play in 2 NFC Championship games. Lost one, won one. Winning's better. Yeah. If anyone was taking a poll, winning's better than losing. And losing the Super Bowl sucks, obviously.
Yeah. It was a cool year.
Oh,
it was unbelievable. We had a great group of guys.
We were a game away from the greatest NFL season of all time.
We've been the only, I think.
No, it's 100%. Because
18 wins and a Super Bowl. Has anyone else done that?
No, because the Patriots were 18-0.
I think the 49ers did it in 85.
But I thought the greatest season as far as total wins was the undefeated Dolphins. Super Bowl champion.
No,
do I have that wrong?
You have it wrong.
Okay, what is it?
I think it's the 49ers.
They didn't win 18 games. Though.
In 85 they did.
They were 18-win Super Bowl champ?
I think so. You want to look it up as we conclude?
Please. I've been telling that story.
Not 85, that was the 85 Bears. 1984 49ers.
I've been telling that story wrong then for a long time.
But it still would have been. Okay, there it is. 1984. That's the roster. Record? Joe Montana, have you heard of him? He was good.
He was fine. What was the record? I've been telling this story wrong then these years.
No, it's getting updated.
Don't put in the roster, just put in the record.
Record.
You put in roster.
I know. Well, I wasn't Google. 15-1. They won 3 in the playoffs.
Why would they have won 3 in the Super Bowl divisional?
Yeah.
All right, I take that back. We would have had the tied for the greatest season in history.
It would have been because we did it from Charlotte. It was great.
Yeah.
Most wins in NFL history.
We would have tied.
Yeah, that's all time.
We would have tied.
We would have tied, but I still like you telling the story that way.
I've told that story 100 times that we were on the verge of the greatest wins of the Super Bowl team, but I'm glad no one's fact-checked me.
You think? That's a You Think t-shirt?
This is a You Think t-shirt.
Charlotte Christian?
Custom premium gear, Charlotte Christian, go Knights. You Think, check it out, youth.inc, content. You can buy your gear, merch, all youth sports oriented.
Who's been the best interview that you've released thus far? Because I know there's a lot of stuff in the backlogs.
We've had a cool start to this season. Obviously, Tom Brady, Malcolm Gladwell.
Oh, that's cool.
We just released Ryan Day this week on obviously the eve of the college football kickoff season. They open up this weekend, number 1 versus number 2, Texas.
And more importantly, Notre Dame, Miami.
I was waiting for you to get to that.
I know, sorry.
Do you remember a couple years ago when it was, I think, 17, when Notre Dame and Miami played?
Yeah, it wasn't a great day for the Irish.
I wore Catholics versus Convicts.
Oh, that's right. You brought that in. Because
And,
Vermillion was in there,
yeah,
and Sherm. I mean,
remind me how the game went.
They played it.
Remind me how it went, though.
It wasn't great for Notre Dame.
It was great for us.
Did you feel
I
like
think we beat you by 100.
Did you feel like you were kind of on both sides, being a Notre Dame guy and a Miami guy? Did you
Something else that you need to research. I think I'm the only person in the world who's ever worn a Notre Dame helmet and a Miami helmet in a football. I didn't wear it in a game for Notre Dame, but in practice. Am I the only person to ever wear both uniforms?
I would have said to like 5 years ago that had to be.
But nowadays, nowadays you don't know.
Now it could be, you could wear Miami, Florida State, Notre Dame, and USC in just one career. You could do all of it.
That's true, which would break the internet and the universe.
All right. So, you want to put a little bet on Notre Dame, Miami?
Yes, I'll bet you an entire bow box.
Done. All right, so this is a gift for you.
Oh my God.
But now, I think you probably already have this
Chicken
gift.
in
Right? There's no chicken in it.
So what is the gift?
I think you already have one of
Oh
these.
my God. This is the only shirt I'm ever going to wear the rest
Yes.
of my life.
I think.
Beanie looks a little small.
Oh.
This looks like it goes on a toddler. I'm going to drop this off at Levine Children's Hospital for
Okay,
the
good.
babies.
That's
and
perfect.
It's red.
That's
So I'll
perfect.
give it to one of the heart babies.
That's good. That's actually
Have you
new.
seen the size of my head?
You've got a big head.
My eyes are going bad. I don't want to talk about it. Bo's famous seasoning, that's a no-brainer. Oh, and a little tumbler.
Actually,
Tervis tumbler, is that what they're called?
this has been upgraded.
How fancy are you? How much are you being paid for the show?
Me personally, we're going to talk about that. Not a lot.
Dude,
This was great. Thank
the
you.
fact that we didn't talk youth baseball, it just shows how much we had
We
to
have
cover.
so much. I mean,
We'll have to do
part
it
2?
again. And part 7?
Part 7.
Thank you, buddy.
Youth baseball is quick updates because we talked about this. 13U baseball starting up next week. We're on the big field.
We're on the big field.
A bunch of our boys, I don't know if one practice you were calling the Chicago game. We had practice on the field. And the boys were like, I can't wait to play on the big field. And I said, boys, now it's just called the field.
It's the only field.
It's the field.
For when you're little, you refer to it as the big field. Now it's just a baseball field.
This
Like,
just-
for
this
the
is
rest
what
of
the
your
baseball
life,
field is.
This is,
This
guys,
is a baseball field.
welcome to a baseball field.
Yeah. So that's been pretty good.
Grinding.
You got You Think broadcast. Where are you starting out this year?
Seattle, San Francisco, in Seattle.
Fun. Will
Wow.
you go down that visitor's tunnel just to see our
No,
guy?
I'm going to stay out of the crowd.
Sounds good.
They don't love me either.
Greg Olsen, Pro Bowl All-Pro, Fox broadcasting extraordinaire, great buddy, hardest yard.
Appreciate
You got a lot of
Too many. I'm the worst retired guy in America.
you got a lot of irons in the fire.
Too
We
many.
could just keep going.
And
Thanks, bud.
I appreciate you.
All right. Oh, also high school or middle school football
Yeah, I was
coach.
waiting. That's burying the lead.
There's a lot going on. Thanks, guys. Keep pounding.